ya, YouTubers? Tazman here, bringing you another episode of Foundry VTT from the ground up. And I don't know, so this is kind of a how to run both the dev version and the release version of Foundry at the same time. However, that's kind of misleading. It's not necessarily saying you're running them at the same time on the same computer. This is more having them both installed, because Foundry has this thing where when it installs one version, it basically replaces the old one. I'll show you what I mean. But first, what we're going to do, and this is what you're going to want to do, is we're going to go to the Foundry website, just show you how you get it right here. Oh, good, I do have it. So if you go into your profile, you click login, click on your name, you'll be greeted with this, and then you can come down to the purchased licenses. So down here you have your download versions, and you have the main one, the release version. But way down here, you'll see that they've actually released in development, the development release of version 9, which has some really cool features that we're going to just kind of quickly highlight. If you really want an in-depth, you should definitely go check out the Foundry VTT YouTube page and check out the streams that Atropos has been doing, because he goes into great detail on these things. Just to give you a real quick overview, the main three things that I've noticed that are new with version 9 is they've switched the lighting algorithms and all that fun stuff, what it uses to calculate the lighting to a new one, which is much faster and does a better job. They've also worked on, I've had a video just a little while ago that was about having the WebRTC and having the little video and voice. So they've worked on how that might be a little better. Like one of the examples of the pieces is that it actually is broadcasting when you push mute on your thing, so other people see that. The way it is currently, if someone presses mute until there's some kind of update, it doesn't actually populate that to the other players. So this will be more of a real-time thing. And then there's also cards, such as decks and things like that you can create, and hotkeys, I believe, is the other one. So those are, I said 3 earlier, but that was because I wasn't thinking about the WebRTC thing. So basically there's those 4 big things, and then lots and lots of tweaks and everything else. But those are kind of the big features. So once you get here, you'll just want to click on the V9 version, Dev 2, and then choose your OS, click download. First thing we're going to do is, this is our original install location. It's in C: program files, Foundry VTT. And we're going to just take this, just to speed things up, we're going to zip this up, because I want to show you, I'll just leave it Foundry VTT, and we're going to want to take this completely out of this directory. So we'll just let this zip. So the reason we're zipping this up is because Foundry, when it installs, it will actually uninstall, completely delete the old version, which we're going to see in just a minute. And it doesn't matter if you're installing to a new directory, it just goes and says, oh, Foundry's already on here, I need to get rid of it. So if we back up everything into a zip file and move that zip file out of the directory, since everything in this directory is going to be obliterated, and this is probably a reason that you really do not want to, force your data. So like let's just do a simulation here. If we go put a folder in here, let's say this is like our data where we keep all our worlds and stuff like that. Pretend that's all populated. We're going to see that this is just going to come in here and just completely obliterate everything without a care in the world. Basically, what we're going to be doing is we're going to create a directory in here called beta, and then we'll install in the beta, which will delete everything out of here, and then install the beta, and then we unzip the file that we just did into here. This is taking a lot longer than I was thinking it was. And that will basically give us two versions of Foundry. Then we just have to have two links. So we could have this link right here be called Foundry VTT. And let's just call it retail, like so, and continue. And then we'll have a second one that will go into that beta directory. Now, the sad part is because this is the way Foundry does its stuff, that it just obliterates the previous, and it doesn't care whether it's in another directory or anything like that. We run into the same thing anytime we're going to do upgrades. We're going to have to do this same process. So if, for example, there was an upgrade to retail, you probably want to do it the opposite of what we're doing. You'd want to go into the beta folder and do a zip of all those files, put those on your desktop, let it install the retail version, and then inside this directory, and I just keep it in the same directory because it's easier, create another one called beta and extract all that data into there. Hopefully that makes sense. I think it'll make more sense as we go, but this, and if anyone has any better way of doing this, I would love to know. I've experimented, and this was basically the only thing I was able to do. So we're going to go ahead and take the Foundry VTT one, put it out here, and now it'll actually work because we let it complete the zip. So this is what I wanted to show you right here. So we're going to go ahead and tell it to install beta, right? The temp. Which one is this? This one I don't need. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to say install this. We're going to stick it in basically the same directory, but we're going to actually create one inside one folder structure, or whatever you want to call it, deeper. So we're going to say I agree. We're going to just in here create a beta /BETA / and we're going to click install. And what you'll see it do is it completely obliterates all the Foundry that's installed on the system. If we have 5, you'll see it's completely gone. So this is why we've kept this, so that once this is installed, we can actually do this. Then there's only going to be one extra step that we're going to need to take. And that will be if we go into our My Documents here. Let it think for a second, I guess. There we go. We're going to create a second Foundry. We're going to call it just Foundry VTT 2. And there's also a reason that we're doing that. So if we create a new folder, and you can actually call it whatever you want, but I'm kind of lazy, so Fundry VTT 2. And this will be for our beta. Now I could call it beta, but you'll see why I'm lazy in just a second. So now that we have the beta, this one will no longer work. The Foundry Retail now is no longer working, but now we have the beta. So I'm going to come here. I'm just going to rename this link to beta. And if we launch this, we'll actually see that we're in version 9. Now, it's going to, well, actually, let's just wait a second. I think it might take a second for it to come up. So maybe I will explain this. So the one thing it's going to do is, because Foundry VTT basically uses registry keys and stuff like that to tell where things are, it's going to instantly know that I'm already registered, and it's not going to, consider itself all the maps and stuff that I have as version 9. So as you can see, we have version 9 down here, so we know that's correct. We're going to go ahead and put in a password, and this will get us in. So this is the reason why I actually only created the number 2 as our Foundry VTT 2. So in order to change folder structure and everything, we have to just click on configuration, and I'm just going to stick a 2 right there, And now it's going to know that this is a new directory and everything. And when we load it, we're going to be asked for our information, which I should have on the clipboard, hopefully. So now you see we have the activation key. We can hit paste. All right, so now that I've entered the license key, you can see that it now has the agreement, and we can come in here and say agree. And now if you look, we don't have a game world, we don't have a game system, we don't have any modules. We are now pointing to that. So if I wanted to go back to the original Foundry, what I would do is go ahead and click on this, delete that. It's going to save, but in order to save, it actually has to exit. So, oh, and I don't have those certs in the directory yet. So let's go and delete those as well. And, well, you know what? I'm going to cancel. We're going to want to copy those certs. If you did that cert, the best thing to do in our documents. So remember how we got those certs? If we keep those certs, then this will also be ready for that. So we're just going to grab these two certs real quick. Go Control C. Go into our Foundry VTT2. Go into config. Was it just out of config? Yes, it was. All right. Go ahead and do Control V there. Then we're going to have to put these things back in, so don't delete those. Let's go back to Foundry, like so. This is the first one. So there is, I forgot this CRT. And then we need the second one. Excuse me. That was the wrong one. Go here. And then we need the key. And we'll go back into Foundry and put the key. So you shouldn't have to do that. Just make sure you copy those things. And now we should be able to save without a problem. It's just going to say we have to restart. So now we pointed it back to the Foundry VTT folder. And what we want to do then is go ahead and double click our guy right here. Go back to where we were. And you only have to do this once per update and stuff. Let's see, we need to go back to our Foundry where the beta folder is. Go ahead and I'm so used to the thing being at the bottom. Let's go ahead and hit Control A. We'll drop that down. And this is going to take a little while, so I will probably, hopefully I'll remember to do it on both the zipping up and this part of unzipping our file. I'll remember to remove that so you don't have to watch that. So we'll just let this go. Oh, actually that went way fast. Oh, actually that was not the actual copying. Do this for everything. Yes. And maybe it'll go quick. There we go. Now we have the original Foundry back. We have our beta version back as well. So now if we hit F5 on the desktop, we should get this link back, or we should just be able to double click it. Maybe it'll reestablish the icon for us. I think. If not, oh, it did. Okay, so now you can see Foundry's coming up. It is the 0.8.9. We have our administrative password, which we set up like so. And now we're back to where we have our bare bones. So what I wanted to show you is some of the features of, and just really quick, some of the features of version 9. So we're going to go ahead and change our configuration real quick, change this to the 2, hit save, and then we'll be able to launch the version 9 or this one again. So do that. And if we want to fix this real quick, I'll do that offline. We'll just we'll launch it. Default password's nothing, so we can just join. And let's go ahead and just show you some of the new stuff. So this right here is a new icon that you won't have seen before. It's the cards. This is for creating decks of cards. I'm not really going to go into that because that's not what this video is about. We're just talking about the highlights. If we go, let's see, well, we don't have the WebRTC, that's fine too. The big thing I wanted to show you though is some of the new way they're doing their thing. So when we do create scenes and do a test here, you'll notice that the box is much smaller than it used to be, which is nice because they've actually separated into little categories. So it's the same information. I haven't noticed anything different, but you have your basics, and this is where you can add your image, your foreground image, your background color for the padding. You can add your grid, or not your grid, your initial view. Your grid's the next section, the name that it actually is, and the name that it actually will show up here. Then of course you have your grid settings. Once again, they're all the same as before. I think we used to have another pop-up window. I think they might have changed it so you actually have a few more options here, but they were the same options we had before. And then of course your lighting, this is all the same as before. And then our ambiance. I'm trying to think. I think we can just show you as is. We don't need an actual map. But some of the cool things they've added with the lighting. So if we go add a light source here. So right now, our lights are a very, cut and dry. You can see, this is, well, let's go add the thing in here. You'll notice once again, we have these much smaller than they used to be. They used to be really long. I really like this because when I'm recording these, I'm doing it at a 720 by 1280 by 720 resolution, so that it's larger for you as the viewer. So if we were to say change this light to 30, no, without the point, and maybe change the bright to 10. And update the light, you'll see that yes, here's the 30. It goes right out to the end. If we put this in the center of a box, basically that's your 30. It's taking it from here out, from the center here. So if we put it in the center, we get more of what you might expect. But anyway, you can see we have our dim light all the way out there. We have our bright light here. This is the same as before. However, with the ability to have line of sight and stuff like that, this becomes less important. Now, if we were doing it where we were masking or something like that, where you could actually see everything, you might want something like this as very cut. Say, yes, this is bright, this is dim. But with this, being in a VTT, where it's calculating your line of sight and it's dimming out everything beyond that range, you can actually make this look nicer by going to the advanced options tabs and tell it to do gradual illumination. And what this will do is you'll notice it actually almost just disappeared. You can't quite see so finite that line right there. It blends it a lot nicer. Let's see if we get a different color light. It might be because we don't have a map behind us, and we could throw one in there, but let's try a red light or something. See if that does anything. There we go. So as you can see now, there's not this finite line here. There's not a super finite line here like there normally is. So you get this much nicer effect. So this is one of the nice things, and the calculations this does to do this with lots of lights and stuff like that does not slow down the system very much. So it's really nice. Most of these other things you can make it so it provides vision or not. As you can see, this provides additional source of vision for controlled tokens. So this would make it so a token that might not have vision can use this as vision or see what's inside this. Or you can make it so it doesn't do that. We've already seen constrained by walls. Actually, no, we haven't seen that. That's new too. This is actually really nice. Like if you wanted a source of light that was gonna just put a nice brightness over the entire map. If we have, let's just draw some walls around this. I probably should have hold Alt while I do this, or Control I mean. So if I hit Control and hold it, we'll just get this. So here you can see we have this light that's really big for this room, but oops. Let's go ahead and go here and let me put it like that. So with this light being in this room, oh, I moved the light, so it undoes everything. I forgot about that. Go back to red. And so you can see it's actually being constrained by this. If I wanted, because the map is really dark, but I want it to have kind of an eerie glow to it, probably wouldn't use red, maybe more of a blue color, maybe a very dark kind of blue kind of thing, maybe. I don't know. I can have something like this, but if let's say I want the whole map, so I make this light really, really big. Let's make it maybe 100, and let's not have any bright, just so we have this nice light about it, you know. But we have multiple rooms, but we want the whole map, and we don't want to have to put one of these lights in every room. What we can actually do is turn on that other option. So I'm going to create another room real quick. Regular walls are fine. Let's go ahead and just draw another room here, here to here. I think I just undid all my changes because I didn't hit update. Let's hit update real quick. Close. And so now we have a second room here, and we could have, you know, more and more. Sometimes what I'll do is I want kind of an overall light that just gives a dimness to the entire map. So if we do this and then we go click on this, it ignores the walls. It's not constrained by walls. You'll see now this is giving our entire map this nice hue to it. If we have a character, let's go see if we grab one real quick. Starter heroes, maybe just grab this guy. And if we click on him, now he's inside the room. You'll see that, you know, everything has this, and I probably want it darker than this. Maybe if we made it dark, let's see how that works. Oh yeah, that's the stuff. And like I said, if we actually had a map behind us, it might make this a little, oops, Control Z. Delete. Let's move him inside that room. So even though there's no light in this room specifically and everything's blocked, you can see that he still is able to see, which is really nice. Kind of gives the effect of like maybe a forest or something like that with a big moonlight kind of shining down. So that's kind of the main thing I wanted to point out there. There's also a couple new lighting animations down at the very bottom here. It used to end at black hole. Now we have vortex. I don't know how well these are going to show up. If we made it a day, it'll show up better. Or maybe worse, I don't know. Really cool looking effect here. Actually, it looks like it's showing up worse. About midnight-ish, it kind of shows better. So there's vortex, there's bewitching wave, which is kind of this wobbly wave that's kind of emanating. Could use this kind of maybe for water or something. Make it so it's nice and slow, and maybe small, something like that. You could have this just barely be visible above a map's water or something like that. We have swirling rainbow, which is pretty cool. We have radio rainbow. It just emanates. And then we have fairy light, which I think looks really cool. I like that one, which is kind of like a clouds and the swirling rainbow. So I think we're at about 30 minutes, so I'm going to go ahead and call it here. we had a couple issues here and there, but I think overall we got what we wanted across. You can actually run without having to reinstall every time. It's not the easiest method, but it does work, and it will allow you to have both the beta version, or the dev version, I guess, and the retail version up at the same time. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. Our next video will return with really focusing on game masters, and I think we're almost ready to actually do some more the players videos. So thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, be sure to leave a thumbs up down below. Aside from that, comment, like, and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter. Check out my Discord and my other channels. And don't forget to tell other people about my channel. Come check it out. They like what they see. They can sub. We can grow the channel. Everything will be awesome. And that is it, my friends. Until next time, I'll be seeing you later. Bye.